Welcome back, everybody, to the Quake Pro League. I'm 40 Lions, joined by the one and only ZSX, and we're going to take a trip over to the EU side, Dan. It's going to be Base versus Av3k.
Big match in terms of standings. I think Base takes this one even 2-1. He might force Cypher down outside that top 4. And considering how well Cypher's been playing, that's a little bit of an unexpected result in terms of overall leaderboard.
Totally agree, but Av3k's just a beast as of late. Really coming into his own, playing really well. And again, this is around the time you want to start peaking. There is about that 2-week break that we get after today. This is the last day of the regular season for Stage 2. But Av3k doesn't really show any signs of stopping. He's just kind of hitting everything, playing great, playing very smart, as he said before previously in interviews. His ABC game is very strong right now. He feels like he's playing it pretty perfectly. And, you know, combine that with the way he moves around the map and his just output of damage, it's a scary thing to go up against.
But if there ever was a clash of two very different styles, it's probably these two players. Av3k is just full frontal aggression most of the time, whereas Base is Mr. Calculated. Not Mr. Passive, but very defensive most of the time. But when he wants to play aggressive, when he wants to stop the heat, he can most definitely do so. And that makes him very scary as well. And so really interested to see how Base adapts to Av3k, because it's very much often Base that does the adapting.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's an important distinction that he is hyper defensive, but he'll still show up, do damage on items, stuff like that. He won't completely ice himself out of the map. And that's what makes him so kind of annoying to play against, is you don't really see him, but when you do, he's dealing damage, it's not really returned, and then it's just back to I can't even see him, I can't find him. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. I think we can get into the pick bans here shortly and kind of see what we're in store for between these two players today, as we're going to start off on Awoken. It's going to be Strogg versus Doomslayer. Then we're going to head over to Ruins, Anarchy versus Ranger, and then we're going to finish it off, Dan, with a Deep Embrace, Nyx versus Keel. Wow, that matchup in the end there.
Yeah, that matchup at the end is naughty. But just to break it down, to start with, very meta picks from the off. I think it's a toss-up between Strogg and Ranger. I would lean slightly towards Ranger. I think it gives you a little bit more versatility than the Strogg does, but still very much a playstyle distinction, so pretty even on that front. Ice and Respect ban coming out from Base, really interesting. Av3k obviously first picks that as much as he can, so that's a nice little ban coming out. Ruins, then we do have the Ranger come out. Lots of utility on Ruins, particularly with the Orb up to the Mega. But Anarchy is a base special as well, so it's pretty scary in his hands, and I would like to see him play it a little bit faster than we might other do. And then, yeah, ending up on Ruins, we have the Keel. It's not been banned out at any single one point, and Base opts to ban out the Sorlag, so he knows that the Keel is coming, and he opts for a Nyx.
Yeah, no scale? I don't know. Interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, scale really doesn't.
It's not necessarily the best pick, but just if you want to match stacks, I feel like that's a very rough matchup for Nyx. Mobility's great, getting the heavy and getting around the map, but the Keel can just take so much damage. So, I mean, I could be wrong, as I always am, but I feel like that play is going to be a very heavy defensive base style with rails and just keeping the Ghost Walk off cooldown so he can use it whenever he needs to. Because those pineapples up close can cause so much damage, and I think it's just going to be a hit-and-run style game, right?
It has to be. When we Base picked Athena against Cypher on Awoken before against Keel, and we said it's going to be rough for him unless he can dictate the tempo and play strong positional game. I think it's a bit easier to do that on Deep, to play that runaway game than Awoken, but it's still incredibly hard. And if Keel gets on top of the Nyx, we know how much trouble that is. The pineapples as well, I mean, he can always eat up the time vials, which means the uptime when Ghost Walk isn't there. But at the same time, Base is a specialist in Nyx. And if Nyx does get the stack and does use that mobility, he can get around and be really annoying for Keel and keep on top of the Keel. So it's a snowball map. If Keel gets off to a fast start, it's going to be hell for Nyx. Stabilizes. Could work out well. And he's the one that picked it into the Keel, so really interested to see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, Base, a Nyx specialist, I would say second only to Kilson. I feel like Kilson is probably the premier Nyx player when he has Nyx under the belt, the ruby red Nyx, but Base really good on Nyx as well. It kind of plays into that play style. I'm just worried about that map specifically. playing hyper defensive on that map works, but it's so much harder. Usually if you're playing defensive, you're forced to the low ground, and then it's just a nightmare. But we'll see. I mean, that's map number 3. We got a long way to go, Dan, but if I were to peg you for a quick prediction as we hop in, what do you think?
I think Av3k 2-1.
2-1. All right. I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like Av3k is going to go 2-1, maybe even 3-0. No disrespect to base. I just feel like Av3k is just playing at this level where it's kind of constant flow state once he's in the game. Hitting all his shots, playing a very solid ABC game. It's going to take a lot for base to disrupt that. If anyone can, it might be base with that kind of hyper defensive, slower pace style. Maybe Av3k overextends, turns the tides into base's favors, but I will say 2-1 Av3k as well. Chat, the predictions are coming in as well, and it looks like they're buying what you're selling. Av3k 68% to 32% for base, but none of that matters. What matters is getting into the arena and seeing base and Av3k go at it. Map number 1 of the set is going to be live shortly as we are jumping into it. Woken. Dan, Sundays are for Quake. I love it, man.
You're a nerd. We're all nerds. We love it. We all love it.
Some of us more muscly than others, but I'll take it here as Av3k start off. T-Con base almost getting that rail in near the LG area, trying to catch him off.
But to your point, if there is one player that could stifle that aggression coming out from Av3k, I would definitely throw it to base, because he is just so good at managing pressure, soaking it up. He is a Quake sponge, 40. He just absorbs the pressure and throws it back at you. So Av3k, for me, actually needs to check the way in which he usually plays.
You're saying that base is the Kirby of Quake.
Sure.
Okay, well, he's going up the jump pad to the tribal, and then trying to get a rail, cutting off Av3k and stopping the momentum. Gets another one, too. Av3k doesn't expect a repeat, but the tribal laid down behind him just enough to stop the momentum and potentially a third rail. The speed bumps coming up big. Oh, almost gets knocked off the map. Here comes the Pika play. Av3k in a bad way. Deals with it nicely with the rail. And a fantastic lob of tribal there, which forces base to say, whatever, take it. I'll take full map control. But Av3k doing a good job of getting out of danger there. Rails exchange. That's going to be in favor of base, and Av3k just gets caught out. I'm not sure what happened there. It looks like he just full stopped.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Either he kind of stood still for a few seconds off the spawn. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but either way, he's back on the game, he's back on the map.
Wow.
But as you said, base has full map control. So Av3k needs to work his magic to get back into this one. There's a good start, but that's a better retaliation.
Base with some good rails here. 2-0 for base. That's a good start. That's what you want. If he gets enough of a padded lead, he could just play into that hyper defensive style. Still, long road ahead. Be able to do that. 2 frags is nothing, especially this early on, 2 minutes in. Tri-bolt from both players as the swap to rail is going to net base some damage. As LG as well. The Mega's not going to be there. Av3k a little bit too early. The overextension could cost him his life. He drops down for the 50, but it's not going to save him. Space will grab that Mega. Rocket jump to the middle of the map for the cutoff on Rockets, and he is just feeling it.
It really is. Av3k not got anything at this point in time. Going through with the Berserk. Actually doing quite a lot with that, as basically rockets are a little bit erratic, but still, he's got nothing to work with. He's going to run away, but there's so much time before the major items. He's just literally running for his life. Decent damage off the spawn, though.
Yeah, Av3k is just kind of running away from these rails, taking all this damage. Not returned, and there it is. Nice. Oh, the peeker play bails out base. Hides in a little nook, the waterfall. You know, they always told you, don't go chasing waterfalls. That's exactly what Av3k did, and he goes down. 74 HP, can he get there to steal the heavy? He does. Base needs to try and get away. Av3k pushing the advantage. 2 HP. How is base alive?
I don't know, he's also got big balls to go up the stairway there, right in plain view of Av3k, who didn't expect it, but he's done the damage he needs to contest and probably win this Mega as well. Got no ammo to work with, so if base pushes, he's in a lot of trouble. Base will not know that though, unless he's been countering rockets, which he doesn't feel like he has.
These rails, brutal. Ooh, that rocket, almost right on point. Good swap to machine gun there for guaranteed damage from Av3k. Using that double jump to try and get into the corner, or around the corner rather, without taking damage. With base got that flick on lock. 4-0 as we're getting closer and closer to 4 minutes in. Base will claim the lower drive-through armor shard, and Av3k trying to make a play on this Mega. Does cleanly. There's the LG, but just like that, base at least gets one rail on his way out, and he's gone.
Yeah, Base was happy to forfeit that because he knows that Av3k doesn't have a rail. He still doesn't have a rail though, and this is quite big. He really needs to get over there now, which he does do fine. Oh no, he jumps over the rail though. Base won't be aware of that. He might realize it soon, but still won't be aware that Av3k doesn't have a rail though. So that's why he's still playing a little bit passive and not trying to make a move onto this Mega, at least from distance.
Does finally secure the rail. This should be able to help him chase down kills. Base needs to be extra careful going around corners now, but you can already see he's playing just very slow, this hyper-defensive style. Doesn't need to force anything. He could play hit and run and make Av3k push through these critical choke points and take massive amounts of damage on the way out. Just lines up rails, rail after rail here for Base.
Yeah, but all that work, as you say, hyper defensive. He kited Av3k around the map, delayed the heavy pickup, hit a rail, and got a mega. So it was strategy.
Absolutely. Again, it's that defensive, but I'm not giving you the full map kind of defensive, where he's hyper defensive, making you overextend and commit to an item so he can open the door for the other item and get back in the game. And that's what he's so good at.
And it's incredibly frustrating to play against. He can play this teleporter game. He's got such a quick champion on Strog, and this is the challenge now for Av3k to get into the game. He's trying so hard to force an opening, but once again, by doing so, he's given up the mega.
This could be a good one, but just like that, the speed, the acceleration so huge from Base, but Av3k has to be able to close in on this. There's the jump, no rockets. Base with the double back. Did he hear the double jump? He didn't. This should be a frag, and that's a really good play from Av3k. Good read.
Yeah, really nice play. But we're also seeing the reason for why he picked Strong. It's the crouch slide. How quick he can just be defensive. Kite Av3k. Open up the openings.
That was pretty.
But now momentum shifting. Av3k's beginning to connect with the shots. Lovely double back rail. Both items are up, but Base is really not got the confidence to be pushing in here. He's going to wait for Av3k to push back. Now he might be able to get in and steal away this mega, which he can do. Av3k's done his job though. No rockets for Base, so he has to be careful of any close range engagements. Uses audio cues to get away, but Av3k's found him. Lovely damage up the jump pad.
Really pretty combo there. Taking in the rail. Ooh, another rail. Goodbye. Knocked it out of the park. Polish Prince. Huge rail there off the spawn as well. And Av3k is really heating up here.
Oh, what a play by Av3k.
Unbelievable rocket. Pixel perfect precision from the Polish Prince here, as it does take a little bit of damage from those rockets, but he's out of rails as well. He's going to drop down, grab that 25, swaps to heavy machine gun and try and get as much damage as he can, but definitely wants to re-up on the rail slugs, and there it is right there. So now he can go back to playing how he likes, making sure that Base needs to be very careful the way he navigates around the corners. That rocket almost was so pretty, Dan. It was almost there.
But Av3k is respecting Base. He's not trying to circulate both items. He's allowing Base to get in on one of them and trying to use that as a little bit of bait. Trap him in it, do some damage on it. So it is a lot of respect from Av3k as well.
Really good rail there. Base didn't even expect Av3k to be there, catching him off guard. He's going to be up next. Av3k wants to take this fight. Unfortunately, the rocket right into the pillar there. On potential. Rocket jump there. Almost catches him off guard again, and Av3k is doing so well at just making Base think he's coming from a completely different area and getting all these free attempts at rail damage. Wow, what a fight from Av3k. The Mega wasn't even up. He just wanted to take that LG on LG.
I mean, that's it. You have to force the openings against someone at Base, and that's exactly what he did. Has missed this though, so he's in a lot of troubles. Got the wrong weapon out as well, and Base uses that to ample opportunity. Should also be able to get onto this heavy, so that's a big mistake from Av3k. Base not realizing where Av3k is just yet, so goes back to the T-Con and slows the pace down.
One miss rail, everything gets flipped. That momentum so fast is Base on that Strog. As you mentioned earlier, that's exactly why I picked it. Speed is huge. He's going to have to hit all these rails now as Av3k is committed in the shotgun. It's going to be enough as he goes up the jump pad. It hit some clutch rails there to add that damage. 1 minute left. 1 minute warning, if you will, Dan. Pressure on base now as he's trailing by 1 frag. Can he catch out Av3k?
Yep, so finally pressure on base. That's a good opening though. Doubles back, tries to catch Av3k on the heavy, who he himself doubles back. He's caught now in the... Don't know if base heard him though.
Wow. Big
Presence
missed
of mind.
opportunity there. What a rocket from Av3k. Oh no! Oh!
Now it's really on base to win this map. Av3k has to try and just stay in the game, to run away from base, to regroup.
Big rail from base. Sliding into the banana, and this might be the death of Av3k here. Somehow avoids the damage when he rocket jumps right back up into his face. Both players extremely weak right now. Sudden death. Zerk popped as Av3k does not have a rail. He doesn't even have a lightning gun right now, and he doesn't want to stick around to get one necessarily. No rocket ammo as well. This is a dire situation for Av3k.
Yeah, he's just seen the heavy go, so but he's still not that confident to push in for the mega. He has to take the risk. He does get it. They do somehow trade, and it is back to starting. But as you pointed out, no weapons for Av3k. That's a big concern, obviously.
Very cautiously working his way towards rockets here, finally getting in on him as base. Very respectful too, waiting by that mega. Next item is going to be heavy though, and both players just playing off sound. Don't want to get
base
caught off
has
guard.
no idea when that mega is because it was so badly delayed by Av3k, unintentionally as well. So they've kind of mind fudged each other here. Space thought there was some shenanigans going on, but there just wasn't. Av3k uses this time to reposition to the mid ground.
Living off the armor shards, decent rocket damage there, but after that heavy pickup, I mean, base's stack pretty thick, but Av3k not so bad. Again, living off those armor shards, dealt with the peeker nicely there, so although base does have the information, he didn't get damaged. Things about even here, Dan.
Yeah, but base is playing rail side of the map, which is preventing Av3k from getting that weapon. That's been huge. He just can't create an opening without it. He's also got no rockets to work with, so luckily base doesn't push in. He does now with the lightning gun engagement. He backs off to the banana room, misses his rail, though that's huge, but he did pick up the mega. Will be able to sweep up this heavy as well, and that's a big rail. Would expect him to maybe rocket jump across here, so he knows exactly where Av3k is. Instead, he plays the long road round. Av3k might be able to get a rail now. Desperately needs one. There we go.
2 minutes in, Dan. Very, very close game, tied at 6 here. And Av3k is playing this really well for being so out of control here, living off the armor shards. But this is the push that cost him earlier. He can't land the shots, and base will take it with the LG push through the banana. The potassium is too much.
Well played by base. He was under the pressure for a large period of that map, but again, the strong pick was huge. It allowed him to play that keep away game to kite Av3k time and time again, and Av3k was hitting so much for large periods of that game, he just couldn't lock down base, and we saw the high IQ plays coming out from Av3k, the fake rockets to second guess his positioning, to allow him to push in freely, working so well, but it was still so damn hard to lock down base. And to his credit, kept in the game, once again at 4-4, brought it back, tied it up, and then had the presence of mind to push at the right time to secure the win.
Yeah, it's just deja vu, right? He did it once before in the map and worked out again as Av3k just couldn't land the shots he needed to keep him out of the choke point. Base slides on into those DMs and into his first victory of the series, 7-6, and a nail biter. I think first sudden death of the day. Hopefully not the last, because that's what we want to see, but great start from base.
Really well played by base, and we said it'd be interesting to see how Av3k adapts, and he wasn't as aggressive as he usually is, but it was because he wasn't given the opportunity to be. Normally we'd see Av3k striding into rooms, taking these close range engagements. That's where he strives. The base really did keep him to a ranged game. You can see the damage output there, heavily rail based from Av3k. That's more or less unusual for him. Would generally see a much higher use of lightning gun. So well played by base. He dictated the tempo and played the game he wanted to play. And look, the item control was much better for him as well.
Yeah, really, really well played from base there. That's the start you want, as we are going to get right into map number 2. And does this shake your predictions at all? I'm taking a look at chat, and it looks like they're still standing true. Av3k 85% to 15 right now, as they're still rolling in.
We said it would be 2-1, so maybe that's base's only game.
That's true, because again, that third map lingering in the back of my head, man. Nyx versus Keel, Deep Embrace. I don't know. Looking forward to that one, but first we got one in between here, as we're going to hop on over to Ruins. Still, great performance from base there to clutch it out in sudden death, but Av3k's probably going to have something to say about it.
I would think so. I would think so. But we'll see as we get in. We've got Anarchy versus Rangers, so base again has the speed advantage here. And I expect a very similar game plan. Use the speed to kite Av3k. He's got the inject this time to restack if he needs to. So should favor that heavy. But either way, use the speed to keep away, play the rail game. That's what I'm expecting at base.
Yeah, I think the only saving grace here is if he wants to try and get up close and personal, as we saw with Strog. If Av3k doesn't hit his shots, he always has that Dire Orb, which is really good for burst damage. So base might just play the distance here, but as you said, the speed can keep him away as long as he'd like here. And we're starting off on base. As the Mega, very cautious on his way over. Grab that 50 shard here. Av3k grabbing the heavy, now has LG as well, and base trying to bait out a little bit of something, and what he does! Wow! Unfortunate there. Ooh, there's a rail though. Missing with the follow-up, almost trapped him there. He's trying to fight from below, a little bit of LG. There's the inject, but still 54 HP after that. And he goes past the heavy. This is very dangerous, but Av3k not pursuing the kill. He is going to double back for the Mega, and base is going to slow things down in the back stairwell right now.
Yep, slowly building in a bit more of a split. I'm surprised Av3k didn't delay it a little bit more to secure this. He's in a better position for the next round of items. He just desperately needs a rocket though, so we should see him make his way over there now. Instead, he's just trying to hunt down base. Base is quite happy just to play the jump pad game. Av3k knows what's up, close to the gap. Big shotgun to the face, and that will be the opening frag. Oh, does he not know when the heavy is though? He's just missed it, and that will actually lose him the Mega. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Base though doesn't realise and actually doesn't push in for the Mega either. A little bit awkward, but Av3k will now realise that mistake and get back up into the high ground.
Some damage here, might be able to catch him out. Base with a great rail. Av3k responds, hits another one as well. Sees him through the telly, and now he can grab the Mega. Full control. He knows that base is in a bad way here. Catches him out in the courtyard. Base was looking for that armor, but Av3k capitalizes. Here's the Dire Orb play. Slightly mistimed. Ever so slightly.
The difference obviously between Ruins and Awoken is that Ruins is a lot more open. So if you can control that mid ground, which Av3k is doing, you've got the full 360 vision effectively with the rail. You can see every corner of the map. And that's exactly what Av3k is trying to do. Base is setting up very early. He'll be respected and win out that Mega, but he's got no weapons, so won't be able to contest at all for the heavy.
Base looking for some armor here. Good health stack, but Av3k will claim the heavy. For another rail, could catch him out here in the courtyard. Just trying to figure out exactly where he is. Base will aggress with the LG, that'll give him away, and Av3k has a rail for him. Patiently, a little bit of rocket damage actually with that play, and the Dire Orb is in hand, so Av3k, if he wants to fight this, just doesn't even need it here. As Base slightly mistimes his move onto the Mega. Av3k gets it mid-fight, melts him down with the LG.
Commanding lead already. 3 minutes in, Av3k with full control. Base is struggling at this point.
A rough start as he gets caught out in the courtyard again. Rails exchanged from players, both will miss, and Av3k prioritizing the Mega here, making sure there's no shenanigans and no doubling back from base. As you mentioned before, the split on the items is good enough for Av3k to kind of take his time. He is going to be forced to go through the back stairwell here. Base lying in wait with a rail. Dire Orb is in hand if Av3k wants to go crazy, but he doesn't. Respecting base now, giving up that heavy.
Yeah, Av3k definitely could have rushed in with the orb there. Base without a rocket launcher. Great rocket to rail combo from Av3k, and
Ooh.
such efficient damage with the nail gun as well.
His best impression of Bob Beelet there. Building a home with those nails, Dan, as he's setting up shop 3-0. Wants to take this one and clap back. Great rail there from base. Forcing Av3k down to 50. Could catch him out around the corner, but just wants to take a little ride up the jump pad there and drop back down for the heavy. So the next play is going to be for the Mega 75 HP. Av3k has to be so careful here, and using those sound cues and just getting the hell out of there.
Yep. Now it's keep away time for Av3k as base has got the map on full control. Av3k trying to get timing on this Mega though. Lovely play, hits that rail a little bit early. Will he actually contest this? He might drop him for a bit of damage or just wait around to get perfect timing.
Ooh, so much nail damage, but Av3k still weak as a base. Wants a frag. He wants to try and get something going here. 98 HP for Av3k. Almost catches him out, but no, he couldn't put the brakes on. Went through the telly, and that cornered him up against the wall. Big frag for base. Bigger rail off the spawn. Here's the chase. Nails him down 2 in a row right off the bat. Just like that, things have flipped, turned upside down, man.
They have, and Av3k's lost out on the whole map. And base is making it count. 2 frags back to back. Av3k needing to stabilize, but it's just has no idea when the items are. Has he, again, like, looks pure mistiming. Av3k down on the heavy. Base has already taken it. I'm sure Av3k has now realized his mistake, but he's still set up down there, and base is just running the map and wondering where his opponent is.
It's one of those things where you're like, is it gone? It's gone? Okay, it's gone? It's gone for sure. Okay, now I'm going to leave. He is diving back in at the appropriate time here. Base is as well just missing out on that rail. That could have opened things up a little bit, but he still didn't really have the weaponry, just LG and rail to work with. He's going to opt to go rockets, and now the next item in the cycle is Mega. Can he get some damage? Av3k missing, unfortunately, on these rails that could open things up. A little bit of rocket damage to even it up. That's a big second rocket there, making base decide twice.
Oh,
okay, that's it.
From Av3k.
Beautiful play there. Now he
Pretty
can grab the 50
greedy
shard.
from base to stick around. He knew he had the inject, which is why he stuck around, but this is the problem. 1, you're weak as Anarchy, and 2, the follow-up from the Ranger is unparalleled, being able to close the gap instantly with that orb. So smart from Av3k.
And he just wasn't hitting the damage. I could see sticking around a little bit longer if you're putting out the damage, but he just kept going for chances. And unfortunately, wasn't able to capitalize at all and overstayed his welcome. A little bit of tribal. Now he's starting to hit the damage, and Av3k seems to be overstaying his welcome as base melts him down with his shaft of his own.
Av3k does have the time to get back in position for the heavy, though. Base doesn't have the stack to truly contest. He will be pushing in, but that rail will definitely end that aggression. Av3k wins himself a heavy. Once again, next priority is pick up the rocket launcher of base, licks his wounds, needs to find a light armor as he's now very weak without an inject.
Ooh, and base. Kind of thinking it was free, but Av3k with a good push to get that rail in there, knocking him down even further. Very, very weak, no inject. Av3k, perfect timing on the Mega as well. Could catch him out if he looks right, just missed the opportunity. He's going to run the items up by 1 here. Having a good split here.
Trying to disorientate base a little bit more as well. Big delay on the items. Base does obviously now know what's up, having heard that from above. Av3k is then facing a little bit of a challenge to get out there unscathed. Base will now have position on the Mega. So unfortunately the plan for Av3k does come a little bit undone, but that's a great engagement as well, forcing base onto the retreat.
Good LG cash here as base might go down in the dire orb to finish it, and that is one of the reasons why Ranger is so brutal. Quick, easy burst damage there as Av3k tacks on another one. 2 minutes left, up by 2 on Ruins. Doing a good job of prioritizing those vials, trying to get the dire orb back up rather quickly here, and be right on time for the Mega's base waiting. Trying to get maybe a free rail or something? No, not so free anymore. Oh my goodness!
Hi.
Hello! The buckshot waiting. Still can't get in on a rails. That rocket was just begging for base. Finally getting in on the rail, but a little bit too late. Do you believe? 3 rails in a row. Can he make it 4? He's going to drop on. Oh my god.
GG.
That was, watch out. Watch your step there, Base, as he rides the lightning to his demise. Great rails, but Av3k again using that mobility of the Ranger. Dire Warp right up to the Mega. Picks that up easily, has the 50 shard, and just Base cannot land these rails, unfortunately for him. Av3k win the Polka? Just a little bit of dancing there from the Prince. Dodging all of those rails.
Didn't see much of a game plan from Base on this map. Definitely saw it come to fruition on Awoken. Didn't feel like it had anywhere near the same impact on Ruins. And that's also partly credit to Av3k, who played the basic rotation better. There was still some relatively big mistakes thrown in there as well, where he gave up 3 items, but still, it was clean enough to do the deed.
Clean enough indeed. 7-3, maybe 8. Nope. 7-4 is going to be the final tally here on Ruins, but the set is tied 1 apiece, and we are going to the third as the decider. There's nothing we'd rather enjoy. I don't know, but this, I still feel like in my head this is kind of one-sided towards Av3k. It's going to be Nyx versus Keel on Deep Embrace. I'm excited to see how Base approaches this, but just my gut reaction is Keel all the way on this one.
I mean, on paper it should be under whitewash, absolutely. You have to play perfect on Nyx to pull out a result here. Oh wow, that's quite the fancy hairstyle. Yeah, you have to play pretty much perfect to pull out a result. You've just got so much more room for error on the Keel. And you can avoid fights if you want to, which is good for both of them. And then you can close the gap when you want to as well. So I really don't know how Base pulls out a result here. Like I said, has to make sure Av3k doesn't get an early lead, because if he does, the snowball effect will be really strong.
Totally agree. And Av3k again putting us to shame in the hair game, but tying it up at 1, doing a good job of bouncing back after that first map loss to Base. And that was a nail biter too. I mean, you know, he hits one of those defensive rockets as the push through banana comes in. It's a totally different ballgame. This could have been 2-0. So first map was still very, very close, but Av3k doing a good job of securing the second one, making sure that this third one is going to be the decider between these two. And again, Nyx versus Keel, I just can't help but feel like it's an uphill battle for Base, but he's probably got a game plan. He knows at least how he wants to play it, because he did pick the Nyx into the Keel, as you mentioned earlier.
I mean, there was also not a lot left.
Scale.
I mean, scale was left, but like, I mean, if you look at the draw, like Keel was gone, Sorlag was banned out, BG was banned out, Eisen was banned out, Ranger was picked, Doom was picked. I mean, DK maybe, DK was there, but maybe Base hasn't played.
Solid. Maybe a Visor. Visor's useless.
Visor's there. It really, Athena. It was Athena or Nyx, I think he was tossing up between, and felt that the Ghost Walk was going to be more useful.
Yeah. And it's a speed thing, right? Maybe he's just going for all mobility, but even then, Athena's faster than Nyx, so I don't know. It's hard to predict. It's hard to get inside his head, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he has in store. Predictions rolling in. We still could be on track for the 2-1. 85% in favor of Av3k right now for the predictions, so they seem to think that it's either Av3k is amazing or Keel's amazing or both. Name a better combo. Going against that Nyx, we'll see. Base could shock the world here, as again tied 1-1. Map number 3 is going to decide it. And what better way to decide things than with a Deep Embrace, Dan?
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, he picked the Nyx into the Keel. Let's see what his game plan was. Last time we doubted him, he put out a huge victory. So let's see.
See how he starts off right here as we're starting off on Base. And maybe if he hits like 90% rail.
That's always a good game plan. Not gonna lie.
Just hit all of your shots, Dan. I'm going to start my own consulting firm. So Base making his way onto the rail right now. Still no rockets. Being very, very cautious here. That armor. Just a bit of a bait there. Base knows it.
Meanwhile, Av3k is just looking mightily tanky, strolling the map.
Ooh, and he somehow connects. He actually drops down, and Base just sees those toesies just in time. Oh,
already losing out on the rail game. So 90% rail, your consulting firm's already gone bust.
It's gone. It's all gone. I'm going to have to start asking you for a bailout in 4 HP. Base has to bail out of here, too. Can you get around the corner? It's just a matter of chasing. That rail will ricochet off the wall here. But the LG into the jump rail, Av3k from downtown.
Base has done 0 damage. Literally 0.
It's hard to handle if you're a base fan right now. It is early days, though. But usually, you get a little bit of something. So interesting. Interesting to say the least. There it is. Puts himself on the board. That's a good rail.
Puts himself on the board for damage. That's not a phrase you'd expect 2 minutes into Deep Embrace.
Silver linings, Dan. That's what I'm all about here.
You're such an asshole.
He's got to get it going, Dan. I believe in all of the players equally here. As the heavy will go to base. Still has the ghost walk, and Av3k almost hits another jump rail. And man.
So the game plan is to play as slow as humanly possible around the heavy and just hit rails.
Yep. Hasn't even used the ghost walk once yet. Missing on that rail. Already forced to the low ground, and this is a nightmare for base. This whole map is a horror movie right now, Dan.
It really, like, there's no other choice. He's picked Nyx into the keel. He's got free reign in the map, and is out damaging him. He cannot move out on the map. That's a better start, and that's a good one. Now he's going to have the confidence to go out. 3 in a row. He knows how weak Av3k is. The question is, can he close the gap safely? Because it has to be a clean frag, and that's exactly what it is.
Doing a really good job of avoiding those pineapples and rockets. I don't know how he got out of there, but base ties it at 1 after hitting 4 consecutive rails and adding more. Still dancing all day, trying to get more rail damage. And if this is the game plan, it is going to be a hard one to execute, but base somehow making it work 3 minutes in. Lowest scoring Deep Embrace ever.
Yeah, I mean, we'd definitely actually need to see Av3k adjust his playstyle, because base, this is what he wants to do. Plus back, play the rail game. He knows that Av3k hasn't got a lightning gun, so he's quite happy to go in and spam the rockets.
Out of rails, though, base needs to be careful. Does realize after the fact 94 HP, needs to be careful. Little bit of damage with that rail, 4 HP. There's the rocket jump up to deny the heavy. Av3k in a bad way, finally using the ghost wall. First one at 330, just in the nick of time for that mega, but Av3k still melts him with the LG. Again, base gets rail spawn, gets right on the rail, avoids the damage. That's the best he can do, but right off the spawn, rail done. Av3k should be able to convert this, but he doesn't have the right weapon out. Fires a rocket a bit too late.
Have any slugs?
Ooh, we didn't have any slugs. I'm watching bases.
Lovely drop.
Point of view. Wow. And I'd say this is already danger zone right now.
Yeah, you can feel the snowball coming. Both items are up. Base will realize that. Actually, he doesn't retreat in time, and Av3k realizes the mistake, doesn't actually make the jump himself. He's too big, too chonky. Third time, not lucky either, but he's also now putting a big delay on that. Base will not realize since he's completely on the other side of the map, so that will give some more mind shenanigans to base, who has to now continue to plus back and rail again.
Tickle. Oh, and he's missing with this rail, 60 HP, and just like that, it's just such an uphill battle for base.
This is the challenge though. Unless base gets major items, he could trade 2 rails to Av3k's 4 or 5. So Av3k's sometimes quite happy to take these trades. If he hits 1, he'll stick around.
And to his credit, still keeping it to a 2 frag deficit, huge.
For now.
We'll see. We'll see. Av3k wants to open this thing wide open. 94 HP, base can tank another rail, but it's going to be very danger zone here as a tribal lobbing 46 HP, and now base has to decide, do I get stuck to the low ground again? And yes, it's his only option as Av3k chasing, misses with that rail.
Closing the
on
gap.
LG.
Going to have to pop the ghost walk. He does at the last second, but where's he going to go from here? He's going to try and steal away the heavy. Av3k might be a second late, which will open the door. The base can't even drop on it. Painful.
Eternal pain and suffering for base here, as this is just a hellish matchup right now. Oh no, and didn't really have a choice. Had to try and make a play. Too late. Oh no. swimming with the fishes. Zavik hits that rail off the spawn. 6 minutes in, and LG on LG is not going to be the base's favor. Avik melts him, just has too much stack. Good damage from base.
Should win him this heavy, which it does. Avik just going to stick around, play for the Mega.
And even that little bit of chip damage. He's like, I know that you're waiting for me. Really, really good LG there from base, but can he convert this into a frag? Avik gonna take a knee and just waste as much time as he can, and base will miss with that rail.
Yeah, Avik's actually hitting a higher percentage rail on a Nyx than the Nyx is on the keel. So even if the game plan is there, and if he was hitting that 50-60%, which you would expect on a keel, he'd be very, very much in this. But unfortunately, the execution from base has been off. However, as I say that, he's got full map control, and Keel is in a little bit of trouble.
Really good use of the wall jump to get back down the jump pad. Avik thought he was safe. Really good cancel there from base. He's still 4 frags down, Dan.
There is a bit of time left. The question is now, Avik can do this. He could just run straight back at base, but he has to make sure that he does more damage than that. Base just regroups on the heavy, pick up this Mega as well. And Avik will need to contest this Mega. It's a big item.
Pineapple's coming in, giving him enough space. That rail, though, is going to be huge. Misses with the follow-up after the Mega pickup. Tries to get some damage post-item, and he can't do it.
Yeah, 2 big rails missed there. Could have very much been in the game if he hit those. Still more than enough time left for base though, but he's going to be weak for this Mega, and Avik's there. He's come charging. He'll be able to steal it away. Doesn't get the frag, but he forces the Ghost Walk. That is nearly GG, as that was a huge set of items that base has just missed out on.
Now he's just so weak, being forced to the Mega side. Avik chooses right and hits the shot before the Mega. There's a glimmer of hope for base if he could have grabbed that Mega, but Avik right on time, pixel perfect rail. 7-3, 2 minutes left, and looking more and more dire for base. He's just got to play super aggressive. He's got to start making pushes. Doesn't have the weaponry, doesn't have the stack. Avik taking everything away and just peppering with machine gun. Great rail there from Avik, even after the heavy pickup. Just no opportunity for base to get back into this.
No, none. I mean, this game is over now, because even if base gets a frag, we know what Keel spawns with. We know how much damage he will do. There's no way he can do 5 follow-up frags. So it was tough. I know people will moan about the way he played, but honestly, what is he meant to do against Keel and against Avik, who hits this much? His only hope in hell was to play the range game.
Oh, okay. It was pretty. Ooh, the pineapple. All right. Wait a minute. Hold your horses here, Dan.
Maybe slightly, but still.
Base wants to say
oh,
nay.
He knows. Oh, Avik, that was not smart. Oh,
okay. Dan, hold me. I'm so scared. 40 seconds left, 2 frags, and he's going to catch him out at the rail. Can he knock him off again? Oh, no! And what happened? Oh, no!
Okay, if he knocks him off there, that would have been mind-blowing. But unfortunately for base, Avik, Twinkle Toes, stays on the edge. And now I can confidently call GG.
I don't know.
I mean, Avik was doing it for the fans right there.
That would have been an insane comeback. And Avik's like, no problem. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I had control of everything the whole time.
Just tucks his glorious locks behind his ears. GG's.
GG's indeed. 11-6. The final score. Avik putting this one in the bag. 2-1, as Handsome Dan so predicted, as well as most of chat. So congrats to Avik getting another victory on the final day of regular season here at Stage 2. But I feel like base played pretty well. I mean, the strategy there is literally just hit and run, try and get as many rails as you can, and finish with maybe LG shotgun. But that is such a rough strategy. I personally think maybe a scale or something, maybe even a visor would have been a better pick, but clearly base was going to try out something. He had something in mind, and at this point, maybe it literally was just a little bit of research before going into Stage 2 finals.
Potentially. I mean, we know base loves Nyx, and it was definitely, let's try it out. I think he normally bans out Deep Embrace as well, so he was obviously not that comfortable going into this match. I agree with you. I would much rather have seen him pick something that allowed him to play Quake. I think on Nyx, you're not really playing Quake. You're just having to hide and, as you say, to double back and plus back. And credit to him for doing it as well as he did to stay in the game. But the execution in terms of mechanics was actually pretty poor for the large periods of that game. If he hit more rail, he could have walked away with a victory on that map, and that would have been mind blowing. But he didn't. Av3k hit a lot more than him, and he deserves a 2-1.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. Missed rails, as you said, kind of the story for that map. But again, just the pick for me is a rough uphill battle. Whether it was research, whether it was, I like Nyx, let me try and make this work. Let me get a feel for whether it works. I don't know. He's got 2 more weeks to test things out, as again, stage 2 finals are in 2 weeks time, April 23rd to the 25th. But that's another set in the bag. We got 2 more coming up, and we're going to have Papa Wheat join us shortly for the featured matches. So let's say 5 minutes, chat. How does that sound? Grab some drinks, grab some snacks. We'll be right back with more Quake action.